With that, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Why Embed Analytics with Qlik, the Value of Embedding Analytics in Your Solution webinar. My name is Amy Daly, and I'm a Partner Marketing Manager in North America, and as I mentioned, I'll be assisting with today's webinar. So prior to our presentation, we would like to share a safe harbor statement with you. This presentation contains forward-looking statements including, but not limited to, statements regarding the value and effectiveness of Qlik's products and Qlik's growth, expansion, and market leadership that involve risks, uncertainties, and assumptions, and other factors which, if they do not materialize or prove correct, could cause Qlik's results to differ materially from those expressed or implied by such forward-looking statements. I also have the pleasure of being joined by two of my Qlik colleagues, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Tom Wainwright, who is the Director of OEM Partners in the West, and Jeff Koch, who is our Principal OEM Solution Architect. They will be our primary presenters on today's webinar, and we're very excited that they're here today with us. So with that, I would like to formally turn the presentation over to Tom.
Thanks, Amy, and good afternoon to everybody, and thanks for joining us today. This is Tom from Qlik, and as Amy mentioned, I'm part of Qlik's OEM team here in the West. Here's a quick overview of what we would like to do today. From looking at the list of people that are lined up, it looks like we have some great participation here from software companies, SaaS companies, and information providers, companies that deliver information to customers. And when we talk with companies like this, typically what they're looking for is the ability to build analytics capability directly into their own product offerings. They want to provide better analysis capability for the customer. They may want to add dashboards. They may be thinking about some kind of a user-driven data discovery situation, and they want to provide fantastic visualizations with self-service experience to their customers. Typically, when you're looking at this, you're thinking about, okay, should I build that myself, or should I buy it? Should I look for a technology, an industry-leading technology that I could bring into my own product? And then, if so, how do I decide on what technology partner to use for that? One of your main criteria may be how quickly you can get to market, how you can integrate that technology into your own products and deliver it, and you may have questions about the business relationship. So we want to cover those things in this short time today. So we'll talk about what are the benefits of embedding Qlik technology into your own products. We'll go a little bit into what's available to you to do integration and make sure that the security and the scalability are appropriate for the solution that you want to deliver. We're going to do some live demonstrations of Qlik Sense, which is an exciting new product on the Qlik platform. And we'll talk more about what's involved in partnering with Qlik, and we'll provide some time for questions at the end. So first, let's talk about the benefits of embedding Qlik into your own solutions. People are often looking at who is the company that we would partner with, what is the financial strength and the position in the marketplace. And so we'd like to start with this slide. And you can see here the revenue growth of Qlik over the past several years. The compound average growth rate of the company is 40%. And we think this is a testament to how this kind of approach is being very well received in the marketplace. Qlik is now up to 33,000 customers in 105 countries. We have an extensive global partner network with over 1,700 partners. And to find out more about the financial strength of Qlik, you can get all the financial information by using the ticker symbol Qlik. So next question is, what is Qlik and why is it different? Why should I select this over the many other things that are out there? And one of the key things about Qlik is the ability to bring in data from multiple disparate data sources and associate it all together in one place using the Qlik Associative Index. So this is a key differentiator of Qlik and adds some very important capabilities that you can deliver to your customers. On top of that, Qlik provides a development environment to build out the charts and graphs and tables to deliver a complete analytics application, but also self-service visualization so that users can get to all of the data that they need to make the decisions, but also it's providing it in this associative in-memory model. What is that model and why is it useful? If you think about a traditional approach to business intelligence and most of the other technologies that you may be looking at out there, they're all based on, they're all query-based technologies. Typically they'll use something like online analytical processing where they are executing queries every time the user wants to find out something. And in a query-based approach, you're limited to following a preset drill path that you have to set up in advance for that user. And then the results that they get back are only the results of the query. They're not able to see the data around and make associations to make decisions. With Qlik, the key difference with Qlik is this associative indexing engine. So with Qlik, you're able to index every data point to every other data point. Every field can be connected to every other field. And when the user is operating on a Qlik application, these calculations to answer their questions are being made on the fly in real time in memory to answer the question. So you get this very fast user experience, but you also get the ability to associate data and to start anywhere and go anywhere in your application and your analysis to answer questions as they come up when you're doing your work. So how are Qlik partners leveraging this in their own products? Well, they're using that great associative experience to make applications for information delivery. They're also building new applications where they're bringing data from multiple sources and presenting an application using the Qlik platform. And they may also be integrating Qlik directly into their own applications, into the charts or into the actual web pages of their own app. Here's a couple of examples of our existing OEM partners. One of the key things they want to do is provide that data delivery and that great visualization. Here's a quote from Scantron. Everyone's probably familiar with Scantron from taking tests, but they're very involved in providing all the data from student assessments to teachers and administrators at school districts. And they use Qlik in their applications because of the flexibility, the great visualization, but also the ability to quickly deliver applications and change those applications over time. Another key partner is Model N. This is a business application software provider, both on-premise and hosted. And Model N has an offering for revenue management that is sold to large pharmaceutical companies and also semiconductor manufacturers. They've embedded analytics directly into their core apps using QlikView and Qlik Sense. And what they love is the rich visualization experience that they can get. There are case studies and profiles of both of these OEM partners on the Qlik website in the OEM section, so you can learn more about what they're doing with Qlik. So what are some of the benefits then of embedding? Well, we talked about the fact that it's easy to combine data from multiple sources. So it could be the data underneath your business applications, could be the data that you sell to your customers, and you may want to associate that with other data to present valuable applications to your customers. You could also provide, while doing that, world-class interactive visualizations. And so some really fantastic visualization capabilities in Qlik Sense, which we'll show you in a minute. And you could also give those users the ability to do their own queries in a great self-service visualization environment where they're creating their own, I should say not queries, but association selections their own charts and graphs and tables operating on that Qlik index engine. Benefits to you as a provider of products: you can reduce the time to market by using the Qlik approach. It's much faster to build and to change applications, and much less expensive from an engineering perspective to maintain them over time. You can also provide something that's secure and scalable and integrates seamlessly into your own applications, into your own offerings. And finally, Qlik as a company, we're very easy to do business with, and we have a flexible model for engaging with OEM partners and helping them get the products to market quickly. So with that summary, I'm going to pass this over to Jeff, and Jeff will introduce us to the product and show us Qlik Sense.
Great, thanks, Tom. So my name is Jeff Koch. As Amy had said earlier, I'm a solutions architect for QlikView. I've been involved with the OEM team the whole time I've been with the company, so going on 6 years. I work with partners at this stage during introduction to the product and understanding its capabilities, as well as after they sign contracts. I work with a number of our partners in an ongoing kind of technical account management and enablement role. So we're going to take a look at Qlik Sense. First, I thought we would talk about what the technology brings to the table and how it helps enable you and your product team. So we're really interested in certain areas in terms of integration, security, and scalability. These are all critical items for people that are OEM in integrating our product into their offering. First and foremost, it's just the opportunity of being able to deliver to your end customers that next generation of visual analytics. And it's more than just a pretty picture, but it's really the enriching of the data underneath and being able to deliver that model in a self-service environment that your actual end users can start to create their own reports, their own visualizations, their own charts and graphs with very little reliance on you as a developer. And so it frees your people up to focus on those core capabilities and not sitting around writing reports and integrating things day after day. One of the things that's key to that is the architecture of Qlik and its ability to scale. It's based on emerging and new web-based technology, so web-based client architecture. It's really delivered around a service-oriented architecture. So now you have a Qlik service that serves everything up actually through secured WebSocket layers to an end browser. So there's not even a website that has to sit in or a web server that has to be between Qlik and the end user. It can be involved in a distributed environment, so whether it's on premise, it can be up in the cloud, it can be geographically diverse, and each one of those environments can be scaled up to support multiple nodes. So as you have growth, you can grow it on a global basis or on a premise basis and up in the cloud, and then grow each one of those areas as demand requires. A centralized repository for deployment, management, storage, configuration of that environment is all done from a single point of access. So you can manage your full environment, whether it's just a single node on a prem or whether it's multiple nodes geographically dispersed around the globe. So a lot of flexibility on how you can deliver your solutions and your offering. Security is very important, and security exists in multiple layers, from the network down through server processing down to the actual security of the actual results being displayed from the data. So you can control who has access to different capabilities within the product line, such as who can write and create their own charts, who can publish them or share them back out, who can just simply use and look at the visualizations, who has authorization to access the data, and who can see what data in a given application. So you get all those facets which are so important in an integrated environment. Being able to embed Qlik, you can do that into web-based applications, whether you're dealing with a visual application or you're dealing with a headless application. being able to interact with the Qlik engine in a non-GUI-based environment that you can pull information, get that information extracted, and push it back into your own systems as part of that integration. Or just simply being able to look at the charts and embed them in an environment that makes sense for your solution and your offering. When you do embed multiple charts, filter boxes, and so forth into your application, what's great with Qlik and Qlik Sense in the architecture is that you don't have this heavy, thick application layer that you have to develop that helps keep all the different parts synced up, all the linking between all the different charts across multiple pages, multiple tabs in your website or your application are always automatically synced together and linked. So as you start to create matchups or even integrate Qlik Sense visualizations with third-party libraries like D3 or Google Charts or Esri's ArcGIS, everything will be synced and maintained together as you make selections in one chart. So selections can be driven in all the other visualizations that are associated with that application. Not only can you embed into a web-based kind of client-server architecture, you can also embed Qlik Sense into desktop-based applications or really device-top type applications. I don't care if it's an Android, if it's my iPhone, if it's a tablet, if it's a laptop, if it's a desktop, if it's Windows-based or Java-based, I can embed Qlik Sense into that environment. All I really have to have in place is the library from my programming environment that allows me to connect to the Qlik service through a WebSocket. And certainly JavaScript and the web technologies does that. We have a specific .NET SDK to facilitate .NET developers when they're in that kind of environment. Again, you can leverage a multitude of APIs to provide integration into your product on multiple levels, both at the front-end end user world, whether it's a new visualization that you need to create from scratch, or whether it's a back-end management function, such as doing additional security checks and integrating back into a specific SAML environment for SSO. So let's take a look at Sense and see what the product looks like. Let me share my desktop, and I'll give it a minute to come up. So you should be able to see my desktop now. You'll see that I've just simply brought up a browser. And in this browser, I'm going to go ahead and connect to Qlik Sense, which is running in my environment. So it's just connecting to my local host. You notice up in the URL is port 4848. So we're doing this over a secured WebSocket. And the hub is just simply my space where I launch. These are all the applications that I'm allowed to see that I have access to. From the integration perspective, you can connect to the Qlik Sense, you can get to the service, you can bring a list of all these applications down, and you can display them any way that you'd like to, and give people the ability to click on a link to launch the app that they're allowed to have access to. So I can see all my different applications. Let's go into the executive dashboard and bring that up. It loads it up. The first thing I get to see is an overview of the application, what it's about, where it's located, and all the different sheets or tabs that are part of this application. So I can have multiple sheets. I can organize those sheets around different analytic logical groupings, a dashboard, just sales analytics, account receivable analytics, operations. Again, whatever makes the most sense in your environment. Let's go take a look at the dashboard. In the dashboard, I get a nice display. These are all out-of-the-box graphics. And I think one of the things that's important with Sense and what they've done, they being development, when they develop a new product, they have leveraged the latest web technologies, HTML5, Angular, Required.js, using standard open kinds of libraries. It makes it really effective for people and our OEM customers when they're starting to integrate, because they have the opportunity to take advantage of the emerging technologies. One of the themes that was built around was what we call gorgeous and genius. And that was really important because first, attractive graphics, visualizations out of the box. But what's really key, I think, is that they're really intelligent visualizations. And they're intelligent in a number of different ways. One, they manage real estate automatically. So as I look at a particular chart and I don't have room for everything, I can rotate that. And as real estate becomes available for all these little slices that have no label on them, those labels will start to dynamically appear. And I can control and manage that. So I always maintain strong readability for the end user. The product was designed and driven by the hardest use case. And the most complex use case was the touchpad. Being able to do everything that I can do in my desktop, from creating the application, making connections to my data sources, bringing out that data together. I can do all of that from an iPad or an Android just as well as I can do it from my desktop. One of the things we expect to be able to do is to move and manipulate those different real estates around. So as I go to sort of a landscape mode, I can see my application and landscape as I move and I rotate my my pad around, my iPad around. Then it intelligently and automatically rescales, resizes. Now I have little scroll bars down here that when my real estate starts to get too small, Sense will understand that. It starts to automatically update the visualizations. It will intelligently simplify the visual. It will drop information out. It will add scroll bars. And the scroll bars let me know the context of where I am in that chart. So I can always see the whole trend sort of like a spark line, but I can scroll along that spark line and get a larger view. If I continue to shrink things down, I end up on an iPad or an iPhone. When I put on an iPhone, then it goes ahead and resizes all of my graphics appropriately. It puts them all in a single column and makes them as large as possible for reviewing on a much smaller device. So you can see now once I can start to get something a little bit larger or a single column, my months start to show back up automatically. So a lot of flexibility and intelligence in the visualizations and in the graphics as I move through. We can just page over to the next page, and I can start to see other kinds of chart types. The intelligence lets me to start interacting with it in a whole new level of being able to pan. I can just scroll my mouse and zoom up on it. As data starts to move off charts, you can see data dots piling up on the side and along the top to let me know that I've got off-chart information. I can always go back to my original position by doing an original zoom. The selection model has been enhanced. They've been made larger and easy and touch-oriented so that I don't know about everybody else, but my mouse is pretty tiny. My mouse on my iPad is my fingertip, and it's pretty fast, so I need a larger real estate to touch so I can hit what I'm expecting to get. And then with that lasso mode, I can come in and grab the things I'm interested in, not grab the things that I don't want, and very quickly and very easily grab subsets. All my charts are going to react as I add new dots, or new areas of dots. You can see the charts are all updating to reflect, those new selections. So I immediately see the impact of the things that I'm selecting. When I know what I want, I can go ahead and click it. Those selections start showing up automatically in the front. So if I want to grab a range of things off of my chart, I can do that. And those products and those subsets of products will show up automatically as selected items up here in my list. I can always come in and scroll more things and very easily make those selections and continue to move through the application to perform my analytics. When I make those selections, they follow me through the complete analytics. So now I can see specific products, the totals for all those products. And if I care about a certain set of products, like I can see Telltale, then I can use our global search and type in Tell, space, and I can see right away that I've got a number of line descriptions. There's 38 more items. I can just click on that and select all my Telltale items. And now this is a Telltale item application and everything, my sales margin, my overdues. If I go to my prior page, all of my sales reps and margins, you can see I've got a very flat line for the most part. The products that are coming into play all reflect those telltales. It's a lot of power to easily move through the data, explore it in a very intuitive way for your end users. The next level for the end user is they can come in and they can start with their own blank sheet. Now I can start to self-service. There's another chart I'd like to see. And so I can kind of go into an edit mode, and when you create your app, the app author can predefine visualizations. So I'd really like to be able to see a product by revenue. I'd like to see that customer revenue by expense. And I'd like to add a couple of dimensions on here. I'd like to look at it by account. I'd like to look at it by customer type. And so it looks like I've got 2 customer types. And I may even look at it by product group. So I can go ahead and add product group in here. Go ahead and say done. And I can come in and start to make selections. And as I select, you can see everything is going to update. It's going to reflect the selection set. I can always move forwards and backwards through all my selections. And even my historical selections are driving the new chart that I just dragged onto the screen because everything's looking at that associative engine. So now I've got applications. I've got the ability to easily move through them. I've got end users who create their own things. But what about integration? So one of the integration opportunities is something that we call Workbench. Workbench is an environment where you can come in and you can create your own visualizations. So I'm going to create one called New. I'm going to call it My Mashup 1. And we have predefined templates. In this case, it's just a basic mashup with an absolute positioning. There's my new mashup. Let's go ahead and edit it. The first thing I want to do is pick my application. We're working with Executive Dashboard. I'll select that. I get all the charts and all the graphs that are in it. And that includes my new sheet. So I may want to put this guy down here. I'm going to grab a couple of standard things up here. I'm going to pull out these 2 and pull out those charts. And let's go ahead and view it. So we'll come and view it. And I get to see my charts up here. And now I can start to interact with them the same way I interact with them in Qlik Sense. I can come in and click, make my selection, grab the things that I'm interested in, and you can see everything starts to update as I make those selections. And I start to move through the data. I can come in and add additional customers. I can add additional customers by looking for letters. You know, give me all the customers that have an E in their name. And I can search across those customers. And as I do that, everything is going to update automatically. Well, if we come back and we look at our mashup, and I've got my objects that have come in, then when I look at the actual HTML, it's one line of code brings that object in. This first line is my current selection bar. That's that gray bar where I can search globally and make and modify selections. Then each one of these is just a placeholder for each one of the visualizations that I brought into play. The JavaScript is automatically created. This is all the JavaScript it takes to go through and read all that information, communicate with the Qlik engine, and bring that data back as a mashup. You can come in and work with single objects. So I have all my applications. I want to go to the Executive Dashboard. I want to include my current selection bar. And I'd like to bring in, here's gauges, here's a scatter plot. We'll bring in the scatter plot. And now I can come in and start to interact with this the same way I interact inside the Qlik app. So the last thing I'll show you real quickly is just a real-world example. This is out on a blog where someone's talking about the top 5,000 companies in Inc. 5000. They've used the QlikView app. You can see the current selection bar here. I can come in and make selections on the chart. And as I do, notice the other pages. So what they've done with their embedding is embed a page at a time and just let you scroll down it. So I can come into any of these charts and start to make selections. And you can see everything updating above and below. Let me shrink this down real quick so you can see the other pages updating automatically as I make selections because it's working across the whole application. So we'll go ahead and take that selection in. Any point in time, I can come up and clear selections, bring in additional visualization, color control. So a lot of flexibility, and we'll bring this back up to the normal size, and how you can work with and embed that application. it works just as easily for embedding it into a desktop. So I think that gives you a good feel of the abilities to look at the basic intelligence, in the visualization and the intelligence behind the visualizations in that data structure, which we call the associative engine, being able to perform self-service so that the end user can extend the application easily by just dragging and dropping charts, chart types, expressions, which are your measures and dimensions onto a chart. And then how you can start to integrate it with the mashups capabilities, where you can grab a single object at a time or multiple objects, or even embed whole sheets and pages into something as typical as a blog site, where you want to bring that up into a blog. So a lot of flexibility. Okay. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any that I can. So let me stop sharing, and Tom, I'm going to pass this back over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Jeff. And yes, please, folks, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box on the right, and we'll address those at the end. And I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to partner with Qlik in the OEM world. So the first thing that I wanted to get across is that, as you saw from the revenue slide early on, Qlik is a well-established software company, over $470 million in revenue, with offices worldwide. And as such, we have a lot of other resources built around Qlik. So we're not just creating software and shipping that out, but we have some very good resources available to you to leverage when you're looking at evaluating Qlik, and also when you're working to integrate Qlik into your own products. So the first one is we have a global partner network. So as an OEM partner, you would be part of that network. There's over 1,700 partners in the network, and that is a good resource for OEM partners, because there are companies there that are experienced in doing application development and integration, and can help OEM partners to put Qlik into their own offerings. There are also system integrators and folks that can help to sell your solutions to the customer base. We also have a very large and vibrant online community, the Qlik community, which has over 100,000 participants, and these are customers, partners, consultants, Qlik experts who are all working with Qlik and can share ideas and solutions via the Qlik community. So it's a great resource. And then, of course, we have a global services organization and a global support organization where we provide 24/7 support for our customers worldwide. So all of these things are available to our OEM partners. Also, when you sign up with Qlik as an OEM partner, actually signing the agreement is really the first step. And then we have a complete life cycle that we use to work together with our OEM partners to help them through all the stages of bringing a product to market. So we leverage those resources that I mentioned and help you in the discovery phase to educate your team, help you make decisions about architecture, and help you get started on your development. We can also actually help you with the development with Qlik consultants or with partners, as I mentioned. And we stay engaged with you there through the development phase, the testing, and everything that's needed to get the product out to market. And then further on, when you're training your services team and your sales team, we can help with that. And we stay engaged throughout this entire life cycle. So we think this is a very important part of the whole offering, and it's key to getting your products to market. So to summarize about Qlik and Qlik Sense and becoming an OEM partner, the key business value that we believe is that we're bringing is your ability to add this proven enterprise functionality to your offerings, the great scalability of Qlik and its platform, the opportunities to integrate it and extend your own applications with all of the APIs that Jeff talked about, the ability to bring in data from multiple sources and quickly associate it for analysis by your customers in your applications, and to provide that associative experience for discovery, which provides a much better way for your users to gain insights and answer questions about their business versus a traditional query approach. This approach, the associative approach, also provides an opportunity for great scalability with large volumes of data. Also with Qlik, the self-service discovery capability, which is driven by that associative model, and something that you can deliver, but at the same time that you're providing governance and security that you would expect from a established provider. So, and then finally, partnering with Qlik, we believe that we have a very strong and open, flexible way of working with our OEM partners to set up the right business relationship. In terms of next steps, we invite you to learn more. You can visit the Qlik website, and specifically the section on partners and OEM partners, to find out more about the OEM partner program. There's a great white paper on embedding analytics into your applications that you can find there. There's also the case studies of the two OEM partners that we referenced in the discussion, Scantron and Model N. And also, you can try it out. You can go and download the Qlik Sense desktop. That's a free version of Qlik Sense, and immediately start working with it, trying it out. There are also lots of great resources on the website, videos, self-service, training to get you started with Qlik Sense. So I invite you to try out all those things. And with that, I think we will pass it back to Amy, and we'll open it up for questions.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Yep. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Jeff, for that great presentation overview. We do have a few more minutes to take in some of your questions, so if you do have some, please enter them into the Q&A text box, and we can address them there. But the first question I have, we've seen a number of kind of questions come in, but Jeff, the first one, does Qlik support a multi-tenant environment?
Yes, it does. And Qlik says, along with the architecture, it's very easy to implement a multi-tenant environment.
Great. Yeah, and another question has come in about kind of some of the examples that you showed, and I think you've just posted to all the participants where you can see demos on Qlik.com. So do you want to expand on that, Jeff, a little, of where they could go?
Yeah, I can. If you want to make me presenter, I'll show them real quick while I'm talking about it. One of the things that you can do is, let me share my desktop, is you can go to different places to see Sense, both sense-demo.qlik.com, and I put the URL in the chat box for everybody. This is what the website looks like. So you can just simply go to this URL, and you'll see a number of Qlik Sense applications that you can go to. Just click on one you're interested in. It will open it up, launch the demo, and all you need is your browser. You can do this from your iPad, your iPhone, and then you can start to come in and see what the application's about. Click on the arrows to go back and forth between the pages. And you can start to explore. You can start to explore that application. So here's a map, and you can come in and start to click, on the things you're interested in. As you click into the map, that will all update into that kind of a mapping object. So that's a great place to go and take a look. and be able to explore and play with QlikView applications.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
So let me stop.
Perfect. Great. So I think we still have a few more coming in, so we'll let people type away there. So Jeff, we've got another question. We're getting some good feedback and questions, stating that they love the way that Qlik Sense enables an end user to self-service the charts. But is there a way for a customer to self-service the charts in their own user environment?
Yeah. So what I really like about Qlik Sense and the advancements they've done on the API is you have a lot of opportunity for end users to manage their own kind of chart creation environment. But just as importantly, in a lot of my existing customers, one of the things they like to be able to do is provide self-service for the back end. So now they can have a tenant who has an administrator, and say he administrates data source connections. He might administrate user environments. So when I want to add a seat, I need to simply add it. If I have to reassign a seat, I can simply reassign it. And that way, my OEM customer isn't managing all those users themselves. So the API certainly allows for, I think, that it's back-end kind of administrative self-service, as well as that built-in front-end, report creation self-service.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. We have a couple, just scrolling through, make sure I've captured everything. So Jeff, another question that's come in is specifically around which technology is required to run Qlik Sense embedded in a custom application.
So what? Can you repeat the question, Amy?
It says, what technology is required to run Qlik Sense embedded in a custom application?
Okay. So if you're going to have it embedded into an application, it kind of depends on the application. So the one that has probably the most requirements is in a .NET world. So if I have a .NET, I use the .NET SDK, there's a number of libraries that are built for .NET. And some of the things they have to incorporate into those libraries from a technology perspective is, like they use Newtonsoft for the JSON library for managing and manipulating JSON strings. There's a couple of other libraries and all the Qlik Sense wrappers that they created. If you're doing it from, say, just a web page, then you need required JS, you need JavaScript, you need HTML5, and you need a WebSocket modern compliant browser. So an older browser, certainly IE9, for example, doesn't support WebSockets. So you're not going to be able to talk with Qlik Sense because there's no WebSocket capability. IE10 and beyond supports that. Chrome 31, 32, 30, somewhere in there, I think is when they added WebSocket support. So you got to have WebSocket support, and then JavaScript, required JS, and a Qlik server to connect to, and then you're set. It takes very, very little for that kind of a client embedding.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Jeff. Well, we have actually just come up to our time today on today's presentation. However, if we did not address your questions, we will follow up with you, because I think I still see a couple more people typing in. We'll make sure that we follow up with your questions. But want to thank everybody again for being on today's call, and we will get to any of those questions we did not address. And I'd like to personally thank Jeff and Tom for being our presenters today. So as a reminder, as we wrap up, we do have a number of vehicles and how you can connect with Qlik between our OEM partner program, looking at our embedding analytics in your application white paper, and also the ability to go and try out Qlik Sense Desktop. So encourage everyone to look at those resources today, and really want to thank everyone for your time, and we hope you have a really great rest of your day. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everyone, for joining.